to another reading, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, Text 10. Got a threat of some raindrops, so let's see how long we last. The chapter is called Remembrance of Lord Krishna. Can you see the nice waterfall behind us? It's nice, isn't it?
Beautiful area.
Yeah, this is a little island on the island. On an island, because England is an island. Alright. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Alright, text 10. Under no circumstances can the words of persons bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered souls. Purport. Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to all the evidences of the Vedas. He is accepted by all acharyas, including Sripad Shankaracharya. But when he was present in the world, different classes of men accepted him differently, and therefore their calculations of the Lord were also different. Generally, persons who had faith in the revealed scriptures accepted the Lord as he is, and all of them merged into great bereavement when the Lord disappeared from the world. In the first canto, we have already discussed the lamentation of Arjuna and Yudhishthira, to whom the disappearance of Lord Krishna was almost intolerable up to the end of their lives.
The Yadavas were only partially cognizant of the Lord, but they are also glorious because they had the opportunity to associate with the Lord, who acted as the head of their family, and they also rendered the Lord intimate service. The Yadavas and other devotees of the Lord are different from those who wrongly calculated him to be an ordinary human personality. Such persons are certainly bewildered by the illusory energy. They are hellish and are envious of the Supreme Lord. The illusory energy acts very powerfully on them because in spite of their elevated mundane education, such persons are faithless and are infected by the mentality of atheism. They are always very eager to establish that Lord Krishna was an ordinary man who was killed by a hunter due to his many impious acts in plotting to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and Jarasandha, the demoniac kings of the earth. Such persons have no faith in the statement of the Bhagavad Gita that the Lord is unaffected by the reactions of work. Namam karmani limpanti. According to the atheistic point of view, Lord Krishna's family, the Yadu dynasty, was vanquished due to being cursed by the Brahmanas for the sins committed by Krishna in killing the sons of Dhritarashtra. Interesting theory. All these blasphemies do not touch the heart of the devotees of the Lord because they know perfectly well what is what. Their intelligence regarding the Lord is never disturbed, but those who are disturbed by the statements of the Asuras are also condemned. Interesting. That is what Uddhav meant in this verse. So, he's saying in this verse, it says, under no circumstances can the words of persons bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered souls. So it means it's easy for our faith to get tested in this world by non-believers. And so if we're easily rattled or swayed by those who don't believe and who have atheistic presentations or understandings, then it means that our faith is not so strong. But those who are really truly surrendered, they're not really affected by the input of these atheistic mentalities and viewpoints. So they're able to remain fixed and undisturbed. That's my understanding. Yeah?
Yes. Text 11.
I think it's spittering a little bit, raining.
Yeah.
So if it starts to rain hard, we'll stop. But when we came out, it was super sunny. We thought, what a beautiful day. Let's go to the park. And then in the matter of 20 minutes, like loads of clouds. So let's see. We'll keep going for now.
Text 11. Lord Sri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on the earth, performed his disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who are unable to see him as he is, due to not executing required penance. Purport. In this verse, the word avitritadrisham is most significant. The conditioned souls in the material world are all trying to satisfy their senses in various ways. They have failed to do so because it is impossible to be satisfied by such efforts. The example of the fish on land is very appropriate. If one takes a fish from the water and puts in on the land, it cannot be made happy by any amount of offered pleasure. A spirit soul can be happy only in the association of the Supreme Living Being, the personality of Godhead, and nowhere else. The Lord, by his unlimited causeless mercy, has innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the Brahmajyoti sphere of the spiritual world. And in that transcendental world, there is an unlimited arrangement for the unlimited pleasure of the living entities.
Now all of a sudden the sun's trying to break through again. The Lord himself comes to display his transcendental pastimes, typically represented at Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka. He appears just to attract the conditioned souls back to Godhead, back home to the eternal world. But for want of sufficient piety, the onlookers are not attracted by such pastimes of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita it is said that only those who have completely surpassed the way of sinful reaction can engage themselves in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The entire Vedic way of ritualistic performances is to put every conditioned soul on the path of piety. By strict adherence to the prescribed principles for all orders of social life, one can attain the qualities of truthfulness, control of the mind, control of the senses, forbearance, etc., and can be elevated to the plane of rendering pure devotional service to the Lord. Only by such a transcendental vision are one's material hankerings fully satisfied. So it means that basically in order to perform pure devotional service to the Lord, we have to be free from the propensity to commit sinful activity as well as not committing sinful activity, which ironically comes by the process of performing devotional service at the platform and level of sadhana bhakti. And the whole Vedic process is meant to put people on the ladder so that no matter where they're at, their activities are becoming aligned with pious action, which means non-sinful action, means activities that are in line with trying to serve God, or at least beginning to connect God to whatever we do. So in that way, at least the process begins. One may not be anywhere near the principle of pure devotional service, but at least now all of a sudden, let's say, in the Vedic culture, one may be taught that instead of eating any meat, one offers a goat to Goddess Kali on the I think it's on the new moon or the full moon, I can't remember which, but at that specific time, and then that is an act of piety. At least they're beginning to connect their impious or sinful activities to God, and it starts to become pious. Makes sense? Sorry, we're not into the purport yet.
When the Lord was present, persons who were able to satisfy the material hankerings by seeing him in true perspective were thus able to go back with him to his kingdom. But those persons who are unable to see the Lord as he is remained attached to material hankerings and were not able to go back home, back to Godhead. When the Lord passed beyond the vision of all, he did so in his original eternal form as stated in this verse. The Lord left in his own body. He did not leave his body, as is generally misunderstood by the conditioned souls. This statement defeats the false propaganda of the faithless non-devotees that the Lord passed away like an ordinary conditioned soul. The Lord appeared in order to release the world from the undue burden of the non-believing asuras, and after doing this, he disappeared from the world's eyes.
Any thoughts?
No.
Okay, so text 12 of the second chapter of third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yoga Maya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his, Sri Krishna's transcendental body, is the ornament of all ornaments. Purport. The conformity with the Vedic hymns, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanash Chaitananam, the personality of Godhead is more excellent than all other living beings within all the universes in the material world. He is the chief of all living entities. No one can surpass him or be equal to him in wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, or renunciation. When Lord Krishna was within this universe, he seemed to be a human being because he appeared in a manner just suitable for his pastimes in the mortal world. He did not appear in human society in his Vaikuntha feature with four hands because that would not have been suitable for his pastimes. But in spite of his appearing as a human being, no one was or is equal to him in any respect in any of the 6 different opulences. Everyone is more or less proud of his opulence in this world. But when Lord Krishna was in human society, he excelled all his contemporaries within the universe.
When the Lord's pastimes are visible to the human eye, they are called prakrita, and when they are not visible, they are called aprakrita. In fact, the Lord's pastimes never stop, just as the sun never leaves the sky. The sun is always in its right orbit in the sky, but it is sometimes visible and sometimes invisible to our limited vision. Similarly, the pastimes of the Lord are always current in one universe or another. But when Lord Krishna disappeared from the transcendental abode of Dwarka, it was simply a disappearance from the eyes of the people there. It should not be misunderstood that his transcendental body, which is just suitable for the pastimes in the mortal world, is in any way inferior to his different expansions in the Vaikuntha lokas. His body manifested in the material world is transcendental par excellence, in the sense that his pastimes in the mortal world excel his mercy displayed in the Vaikuntha lokas. In the Vaikuntha lokas, the Lord is merciful toward the liberated or Nitya Mukta living entities. But in his pastimes in the mortal world, he is merciful even to the fallen souls who are Nitya Bada, or conditioned forever. The 6 excellent opulences which he displayed in the mortal world by the agency of his internal potency, Yoga Maya, are rare even in the Vaikuntha lokas. All his pastimes were manifested not by the material energy, but by his spiritual energy. The excellence of his Rasa Leela at Vrindavan and his householder life of 16,000 wives is wonderful even for Narayan in Vaikuntha, and is certainly so for other living entities within this mortal world. His pastimes are wonderful even for other incarnations of the Lord, such as Sri Ram, Narasimha and Varaha. His opulence was so super excellent that his pastimes were adored even by the Lord of Vaikuntha, who is not different from Lord Krishna himself.
Right. Any thoughts?
Yeah, his pastimes are very attractive.
Yes. Simple, effective, and true. So, so it seems a couple of things stand out to me. One is that, just like the other day, we were speaking about how when the Lord wraps up his pastimes here on this planet, he just goes to another planet and performs his pastimes there. So just because he disappears out of the view of the people here does not mean that his body is material and has deteriorated. He's just moved on to another place. Similarly, like the sun setting in the evening, just because the sun seems to set into the water or into the ocean, if you're looking at the sunset over the ocean, it doesn't mean that the sun has been extinguished and gone forever, because we see the next morning it rises again. So just like that. And also that the Lord and his pastimes, as you were saying, are all attractive, you know. So in whichever form he comes, and they're non-different from the forms that he has in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha lokas. You know, a few thoughts from my side. Did you read last?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so text 13. All the demigods from the upper, lower, and middle universal planetary systems assembled at the altar of the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhisthira. After seeing the beautiful bodily features of Lord Krishna, they all contemplated that he was the ultimate dexterous creation of Brahma, the creator of human beings. Purport. There was nothing comparable to the bodily features of Lord Krishna when he was present in this world. The most beautiful object in the material world may be compared to the blue lotus flower of the full moon in the sky. But even the lotus flower and the moon were defeated by the beauty of the bodily features of Lord Krishna. And it was certified by the demigods, the most beautiful living creatures in the universe. The demigods thought that Lord Krishna, like themselves, was also created by Lord Brahma. But in fact, Brahma was created by Lord Krishna. It is not within the power of Brahma to create the transcendental beauty of the Supreme Lord. No one is the creator of Krishna. Rather, he is the creator of everyone. As he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Bhagavad Gita 10:8. So here we have, sorry, did you have something? Here we have the demigods who, when they came to the Rajasuya sacrifice, they saw Krishna and they thought, oh, he's so beautiful, so attractive, he must be like one of us. Because we're demigods and we're so attractive. Oh, he is clearly the creation of Lord Brahma. So like that, then, because the demigods were all directly created by Lord Brahma, everyone else is a secondary creation of Lord Brahma, you could say. So, but this purport very clearly points out that it's not that Lord Krishna was in any way kind of the same as them. So like that.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to read one more?
Yeah, okay, one more. Maybe it'll be only 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. The damsels of Raja, after pastimes of laughter, humour and exchange of glances, were anguished when Krishna left them. They used to follow him with their eyes, and thus they sat down with stunned intelligence and could not finish their household duties. Purport. In his boyhood at Vrindavan, Lord Krishna was notorious as a teasing friend and transcendental love to all the girls his age. His love for them was so intense that there is no comparison to the ecstasy, and the damsels of Raj were so much attached to him that their affection excelled that of the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva. Lord Krishna finally admitted his defeat before the transcendental affection of the gopis and declared that he was unable to repay them for their unalloyed affection. Although the gopis were seemingly anguished by the Lord's teasing behavior, when Krishna would leave them, they could not tolerate the separation and used to follow him with their eyes and minds. They were so stunned by the situation that they could not finish their household duties. No one could excel him, even in the dealing of love exchanged between boys and girls. It is said in the revealed scriptures that Lord Krishna personally never goes beyond the boundary of Vrindavan. He remains there eternally because of the transcendental love of the inhabitants. Thus, even though he is not visible at present, he is not away from Vrindavan for a moment.
Please share some revelations.
Well, it's interesting here. It says, although the gopis were anguish. Hold on, I'm just thinking. Like, when Krishna would leave them, they could not tolerate the separation, and they used to follow him with their eyes and minds. So it's like Prabhupada often gives, to help us understand, in our conditioned state, what spiritual affection or love is. He just gives the example of the wife who has a lover and she serves her husband so nicely, but in her mind, is elsewhere. Split personality almost, but physically she's, oh, here's your dinner, here's this, but she's sustaining herself because she's thinking of a higher pleasure, as it were. So that's what I was thinking of, like that here. So with their eyes and their minds, because the gopis, some of them were married, some of them were daughters, whatnot, they were under shelter. I don't want to say under control, but they were under shelter, like watched almost, so under someone else's shelter. But with their eyes and their minds, they were focused on something else, something higher, and that allowed them to continue with life. And that's actually how we should be as well. Like we were reading in the Raja video, but recently, about people engaging in this world in the highest connection with Krishna by going about their duties, like Arjuna or someone in office or this. But you got to be, where is your consciousness at? Where's your focus at? That's how you are in this world and not of it, And you can be an extremely high yogi that way. You don't need to be in saffron cloth and renounce the world to do it. If one could even go be controversial and say it might even be higher to remain in the household duties and yet renounce. If I can say that. Not to put down any sadhus.
Well, no, but Prabhupada said that to be a kind of grihasta and be renounced and living within the objects of the senses is higher than being a sannyasi who has to be separated always from the objects of the senses. But it's not an easy thing, and one that can be allured by and engaged in somehow enjoying the objects of the senses, whereas that's quite strictly forbidden for one who is in the official renounced order of life.
Yeah, all the ashrams, to be fair, have their challenges. Not to put down one or the other. They all have their pros and cons.
Definitely not putting any ashram down, but like that. Okay, so shall we conclude there?
Okay.
Pick up with
now it's sunny.
Tomorrow, the sun has come out. I was looking to see if there might be a rainbow around anywhere, but no. Anyway, so a very beautiful area that we've gathered in today. And so we hope you enjoy hearing from the Srimad Bhagavatam. If anyone is interested in a set of Srimad Bhagavatams or a set of Chaitanya Charitamritas, please do let us know. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Would you like to say a few words while I go and turn off the...
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Do excuse my Sainsbury's shopping bag.